I posted it in the chat. I had to restart my computer as soon as I wanted to start Zoom. I don't know what happened there, man. It seems like you're the only one in here right now. But this is the first time I think you joined one of my coaching calls, right?
Yeah, yeah. So recently I've just been trying to take it seriously essentially. So first sort of week I joined, I didn't really do too much because it was pretty like hectic. Me moving back from uni to like where I actually live now, like back at home with my parents. So a lot going on. Didn't really have time for the course, but now I've got a little bit of time, so starting to take it more seriously.
Nice. Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, the only way you could really make progress is if you put a lot of effort into this. But do you like what's your journey with the setting space? Have you been doing this? Is this your first time to get into it? What's going on there?
Yeah. So, well, quick one. Back like 2 years ago, I was a part of RCA for a little bit.
Nice.
Um, I stopped that after a few months because of uni. It was getting pretty hectic. It was like exam time. And never really got back to around like starting it up again. However, recently I tried to get back into it and I realized they closed down. And I obviously remembered Matt Moore because he's actually the one that set me
Oh, nice.
on RCA.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, I was like, I wonder what he's up to. So that he has his own group. I'm like, damn, okay, well, if I want to learn setting, it's definitely going to be from him. So yeah, then I
Nice.
found myself here,
That's cool.
and I've
Yeah.
sort of just been doing like mock calls. I'm on a like I don't know, somewhere around like 40 mock calls already, 30 mock calls somewhere there.
Oh yeah, you are.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, trying to get those reps in. So
That's cool, man. Yeah, funny enough, I used to be I joined like RCA too. I had invested in their program. This is within
mm,
like in the beginning stages. Um,
yeah,
and I actually worked for RCA. I was setting for RCA, so that's how I know Matt. Because I was working with
seriously.
yeah, I was
Oh,
setting
dude.
yeah, I was setting for RCA, so that's how I know Matt. I was working with him. He was in a different department of RCA, but I always worked with him closely. In my previous company, well, the company that I'm at now, he used to work here. He moved to a different company. I also work with him here. He made me into setter manager in the company that I'm at. So Matt's definitely,
Oh.
yeah, Matt's definitely a good person to have in your corner for sure. But
Definitely.
yeah, but I know
What's it like being a setter manager? I'm just curious.
it's fun. It's fun, man. So I mean, I've been setting for about 3 to 4 years now. And same thing, like maybe what you were gonna go through, I invested through RCA, I went through the training, they put me in an offer. And it's been good. So I mean, throughout my journey of setting, I managed to do pretty well for myself here. This is why Matt kind of brought me on. I've managed to that just to give you a little background, right? Matt brought in a lot of people into the group, coaches in the group for many different reasons, right? There's some coaches here
Yeah.
who are very good at teaching leadership. There's some coaches here who are good at interviewing, looking for jobs, speaking at
Yeah.
the offers. For me, mainly, I'm still, even though I'm setter lead, I'm still actively setting too, speaking to a lot of people, just like a lot of the people in here, actively dialing over $100 a day, getting sets. Me personally, I've managed to be a top performer in every company that I've been with, bringing in minimum 10K for about maybe the past 4, 5, 6 months. Last month,
Wow.
last month I brought in 17K just setting, right?
What?
Yeah, yeah. So he brought me on here to be able to help, people like yourself or any active setters, like how like work with the inside of setting, right? Whether it's uh follow-up processes, on what to say on calls, what is
Yeah.
here, what to do here. So more so this is what I hope my classes could help people for the people
So
who actively
follow-up processes, is that right?
follow-up processes, anything setting, anything everyday setting, whether how to
Oh, okay.
yeah, what do you think? Whether how to structure your day, mindset stuff, because I'm actively doing the same thing as you guys, right? On top of that, I am leading a team, so I could also help with that as well. But yeah, I mean, the reason I got into leading a team is because me personally, I know a lot of people go from setter to closer, which is funny enough, the name of the company. I personally
Mm,
don't think closing is for me. Not to say that there's anything wrong with closing, but for me personally,
yeah.
I like having a little bit more flexibility with my time, more so as in like, setting is what most my calls take about 8, 10 minutes. And then
Yeah.
after that, I have time to do other stuff. If I have to step out of
Yeah.
to, etc. I like having that kind of flexibility. And with closing, even though there is a lot like big money there,
Mm,
how do you call it? The idea of just having to, sit in front of a screen or Zoom for like an hour, that I just don't like that, right? But more so,
yeah.
I did want to progress in my career. So this is why I do stuff like this. When I was in RCA, I used to also do classes like this for other people. And I like being able to help people, being able to coach people. So I do this, and this is why I got into like being a setter lead, because with them I'm able to coach my team and everything. So I,
Mm.
I chose a different path in my career, but still I'm able to grow. You know what I mean?
No, that's fantastic. No, totally. I understand.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background. Adolfo, what's up, man? How are you? I think you're muted.
Yeah, doing good. Doing great, actually.
Well, brother, you're in Miami. I see it in your name.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in one of my classes. How's everything been for you?
Well, I joined one about a month ago. One of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
classes.
I know.
Was
I
very
think I
good.
think you joined my first one. I haven't seen you in a while though. But
Yeah.
how's it been for you? I know it's been a couple of weeks. How's the
So far, so good, man. Just staying on the ball. Right now, I'm looking for an offer, so I wanted to ask you for some help with data tracking. Maybe you can help. I know you mentioned that last time.
Yeah, yeah. What's up?
You want to jump right in, or do you want to let somebody else?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll catch up with Marcel right now. But what can I help you out with, man?
Okay. So I'm putting together. Let me see if I can pull it up. Can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Yeah, you should have the option.
So,
Yeah, go ahead and try.
cool. So this is I want to make this sheet my go-to my life for everything pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Uh, right here in prospecting stats, it's just I'm tracking individuals, right?
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to figure out is how to add the AOV. I want to track that metric for myself.
AOV, can you just tell me what that means? Maybe I have a different understanding for it.
Yeah, just the average order value for whoever I bring on, whether that's an appointment set or I close them myself. And so
Okay. Okay. So let me see here.
I can
Hmm.
even share this to you if you want, and then you can come back to me a day later.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can,
that would probably be more helpful. Obviously, this is just kind of on the spot,
yeah.
but yeah. So share me it. Here, let me give you my personal email. Share me it and just tell me, put exactly in the email what you want me to do with it. That would probably
Okay.
be the most helpful thing. I'm putting it in the chat. All right. But anything else? I know you had some data tracking questions. Anything else you think I can help you with in terms of maybe looking for an offer or anything that might be going on right now?
That's what I got going on right now, looking for an offer. And
Okay.
so I'm using, I don't know if you're aware of Rep Select. They have a tool.
Okay.
I'm just gonna share with you instead of me trying to tell
Yeah.
you what it is.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Let me see if I can see it. This thing. Can you see it?
I'm not sure. It just looks like a blank screen.
Give me a second.
I'm seeing like the top half of your browser, but
Yeah.
not the full screen.
Yeah, yeah. There we go.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Fix it. So it's a tool that, I don't know, Ty Martin came up with it, and so I just jumped on it. It's
Okay.
basically a resume with
Oh, nice.
all my metrics.
And so there's like companies on here that are actively hiring, or this is just like a place to help you make your resume.
Yeah, no, it's these are the different pipelines,
Okay.
and so I can apply for them apparently. I just haven't done it so far. I'm
Hmm.
putting together the videos and all that good stuff, so I'm looking for more role plays.
Okay. And with this,
Unless you have suggestions.
I know you mentioned that I believe you were working with one of your friends who had a business, right? Besides that, would this be your first offer, or have you already been on an offer? I think you
I've
mentioned
already been on offers.
that you already
I've
been on an
already.
offer, right? And
Let
so
me see.
you're trying to leave your current offer, or are you trying to replace both of them? What's going on there?
Yeah, I want to replace both of them. I just want to find one, ideally business funding or a solid one. Could be marketing or business funding, and then just go all in on those.
Okay. Yeah, well, me personally, I've never used this I guess this rep select that you're looking into right now. So obviously it's a little bit hard for me to say, but I mean if there are hiring on here, that's very good. More so the way that I go about um applying for places or that I've seen other people go apply for places. I'm very old school, right? I use like Facebook and stuff like that. And I have a bit of a different approach. And I've seen other people have a different approach too, more so where I get very personal with when I apply to places. As in like, so let's say you find a company that you really like. and you have like a Facebook group and you see some of the people who work there. One thing that I've done in the past is I personally reached out to these people on the Facebook groups, and I individually like, hey, this is my name is Ethan. I'm actively looking for a position. Give them a brief overview of your I guess resume. Are you guys hiring? Right. And you have a conversation, right? You get to know somebody inside the group. You even message sometimes the owner of the group. And eventually, like you're gonna be so well known in like the community or the people who work in that space that when they're looking for an offer, you're like, yo, I mean, has anybody, have you been messaged by this guy at Old Like, yeah, like I guess he's looking for an offer, maybe we could give him a shot. That's more so the way that I've like approached places and I've applied for
Yeah.
places. I guess I've gotten kind of annoying but these are things that I think offers want to see, right?
Yeah.
And I speak to some experience, right? Because I have one of the sellers on our team. He did the same thing. His name is Joseph, and he found me on Facebook because I was part of the company that I'm with. He's like, "Hey, you work with my name of the company is Springs Rejuvenation. You work with Springs Rejuvenation,
Oh,
right?"
Chan. Okay. I
Yeah,
know the guy.
yeah, Joseph.
Cool.
There you go. Yeah, you work with Springs Rejuvenation, right? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man. I mean, I've been wanting to apply here. I've been wanting to work here. He messaged me. He messaged Matt. At the time, I wasn't the setter lead. Matt was, but he had messaged me. I'm sure he messaged other people in the group. And then eventually, when it came time to hiring people, he was the first option, right? And keep in mind, he didn't really have the most experience in terms of the high tech sales space. He had sales experience, but somewhere else. So
Yeah.
it's not that his resume was the best, but more so like he made himself the clear option,
Got it.
you know? So I
Absolutely.
definitely think that that's a good way to go about it. Because applying normally, let's say you do a job offer, there's
Yeah.
a job offer, a listing, and you apply. There's a bunch of people that are on there that do the same thing, right? And so like it's very hard to make yourself stand out when everyone does the same thing. But when you're doing something a little bit different, so let's say you go on here, you find a company you really like, you apply, and then you go on Facebook, you find that same company, and you find some of the people who work there. Hey, I found you guys on Rep Select. I'm not sure if you guys saw my application, but I'm very interested. I was just curious. Maybe you find one of the setters. I'm just curious, how is it there working for you? Right? You begin to make conversations with them. You message somebody else. Maybe you even message the CEO.
Yeah.
Right. And so like you make yourself stand out so much, not just by the rep select option, but also just by yourself as an individual, right?
Yeah.
That, Adolfo really wants it. So maybe that would be a good way to approach it. If you're using rep select, maybe that's a good way to find companies, but I would also find a different avenue to approach that company, maybe on
Yeah.
Facebook or wherever they're at, or email them if they have a website and just make your name known, right? Make your name pop out everywhere for them and make yourself the clear option that way. You know what I mean?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, and I'm gonna follow that, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that's helped me in the past. I've seen other people do it. For example, Joseph, and now Joseph is on the team with us, and he's freaking killing it, right?
Good
He's
to hear that.
yeah. He's about to break over 100K cash collected on his first month here. So
Wow, let's go.
right, so
Great.
right, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's a great way to approach it, and it shows that you really want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I will do that then.
yeah,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Now I'm gonna send you that. I'm gonna send it to you, and then you can give me feedback as I go along, if that's okay with you.
yeah, yeah. 100%, man. What's up?
Perfect.
What's going on, brother?
So I'm Varshal, and this is my first call. So nice to meet you all.
Oh wow,
I
really?
just joined yesterday, and yeah,
Nice, nice.
been in sales for about
Welcome,
4 months.
Barcel.
Thank you, man.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I started like in January, and I don't know if you are familiar with Digital Launchpad, Iman Gadzhi's course.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like learned about appointment sending from there. Got my first gig pretty fast, actually. By Feb, I was already on an offer.
Huh?
I like as a DM setter, and then I was still applying. I wanted to be a triage setter, so I got another offer for TEDx. I didn't really work out, so I just left that offer like a few weeks ago. So I'm looking for a new offer now.
Okay.
And apart from sales, I like to run.
Nice, nice. Yeah, my dad is very big on running too. He really did the LA marathon, so I can never do it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I can never do that much running, but yeah. And so like, I guess you're in the same spot as Adolfo. You're looking for a new offer.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking for a new offer as of now.
Okay. And I guess what have you been doing so far? Have you been applying, or what's going on there?
Yeah, so what really happened was in my previous offer, I made no money. Like I was just booking appointments, and I think they went through about 50 of my like short up appointments, but none of them closed. And that was the point I was like, okay, I need to like leave now because I'm running out of cash. So for the past few weeks, I have a part-time job and I had to pay like, save up for my bills and stuff. So now I'm getting back to applying. That's why I just joined this community yesterday. I'm like, I need to get back to setting because I have my bills figured out now.
That's good.
And hopefully this time it works out. So that's the goal.
Nice, man. And I know you mentioned you're doing DM setting, so are you looking to get back into DM setting or actually phone setting?
Uh, I was doing DM setting, but in my second offer, I was triage setting. So I was on phones. Yeah, I have the recordings and everything so that it's something that I could show for that I have done sets and these are what I can produce. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to get in phone setting. So yeah, I would say.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty much the same thing I told Adolfo, right? In terms of like applying for places, especially if, for example, like you don't have the biggest resume when it comes to the high ticket sales space or anything like that. The biggest thing you could do is show people that you really want
Hmm.
it, right? Show people they really want it and really reach out to them. Do you know what kind of offer you're looking for specifically, or are you just open to anything?
I would say something related to AI. I would say
AI,
I
nice.
prefer that AI, yeah, because that's something I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in that for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good, man. Well, I mean, for you guys that are in here, one thing that I had in mind of talking about, unless you guys want to get like you guys have specific questions in regards to actually setting, this is something that it is very important to me. And a lot of I had like a bit of a podcast yesterday when they asked me, what do I do in regards to be able to keep myself consistent in terms of setting, mindset wise, and everything. And it might sound like very cliche or anything and everything, but one thing that I found very important that I found really balanced is my setting life, the stress of everything, being able to make $100 every day and being able to reset every day. To be honest, for me, is being able to disconnect. Um, and so I guess the question I have for you guys, whether you guys have been setting, or honestly, whenever you guys have a stressful day, whether you're applying for jobs or Adolfo, you're building your sheet, or when you have done all this, do you guys know how to disconnect? Like fully, like 100%, like be 100% in work, 100% out of work. Like the moment that you shut off your computer, if you're still thinking about work, or are you able to just not think about it anymore? Adolfo, I guess you unmuted yourself. You could go first if you like.
Yeah, at least for myself, it's just going to the gym. But unfortunately, I just make it happen after 7 p.m. So sometimes you have if I have a bad day during the day or a bad moment, actually, right? I just throw myself and I do 10 burpees, but I still have that lingering thought of, damn, I messed up here. Like,
Yeah.
how can I improve it for the next call?
Mhm.
So it's backfire sometimes, and other times it helps me with the 10 burpees. I'm gasping for it, so and that's enough.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I definitely have a couple thoughts on that. What about you, Blair? How do you feel like you disconnect after a day?
Um, so usually, and I say usually because I don't get to it the whole time, but I have like a routine at the end of like a work day where I do like some reflection, just write in my like journal or whatever. And after that, I literally say to myself the words "shut down complete." A little trick I got from Carl Newport's Deep Work
Mhm.
book. Um, and that seems to help most days, but a lot of the time I don't necessarily get to, well, I was going to say I don't have the time for the routine, but no, it's not true. A lot of the time I'm just too lazy to go through that routine. And then it sort of boils over into my like, evening or when I'm trying to go to sleep where my mind is still racing, still quite active.
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing. What about you, Marcel? I know you mentioned your DM setting, even triage setting. How do you feel like you disconnect after a day?
To be honest, I don't. It's really hard for me. Like even when I run, like I'm still thinking about like, hey, I messed up by this. I didn't get any bookings today. And I think it also affects my momentum because there was a time where I didn't book any calls for a few days. And then I was like, okay, this is happening to me. And the guys are like, just keep going. And I'm like, how do I keep going if I'm not like creating any results? And then one day I booked so many calls that I like cover for the days I missed. And I was like, shit. And it's something I struggle with. But yeah, if you have any tips for me, it would be helpful.
Yeah, yeah. It's the reason I bring this up because a lot of setters struggle with that, right? And the last thing you want is to not be able to disconnect because bad days happen for setters all the time, right? Whether you have low volume or you're, let's say it's the end of the week and you don't have the closes that you want, or you have a day with bad show rate. It happens to everybody. But the worst thing you could do for yourself is end your day, but not really end it to the point where, you're sitting down for dinner, you're laying down in bed, whatever you maybe wanting to do, you're at the gym and you're constantly still thinking about like, man, today sucked, today sucked, today sucked. Because that pretty much lingers into your day. So if you end your day bad, the first thing you're gonna do when you wake up is have these negative thoughts again. Yesterday sucked. Yesterday sucked. I need to make today not suck. Right. And that's already a bad thought. You thinking about, I need to make yesterday suck, or today needs to be better than yesterday. That's a very negative thought, in my opinion. Right. What I like to do is the day's over. Right. Today is a new day. Kind of mindset. It's a very nuanced thing, right? Instead of thinking today needs to be better than yesterday, is today's a brand new day. And one good way to do this in terms of like your workflow, I'm sure everyone has different workflows because I mean we all work with different companies and we all have different tasks. For example, me, my personal tasks are at least are obviously to clear my inbox, call everybody who obviously opted in for the day. If you have any, we have new people who book on the calendar and we triage those. I go through all those, my follow up, and at the end of the day, whoever did opt in for the day, I give them a second round of dials. So that's my little checklist for the day. Right. And me, I've been doing, like I said, I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 years. And I found that if I continue with that checklist, obviously an important part is performing on the calls and all these kind of things. These are important, right? But once you follow that checklist, pretty much at the end of the day, you have to be able to comfortably tell yourself, like, I did what I had to do today. Even though today didn't really work out in terms of sets, show rate, or whatever, I did what I had to do today. Because this checklist is what's gotten me my results up until this point. And if you do need to upgrade your checklist, that's a whole different conversation, right? And this is something that you learn along the way. But the whole point is to kind of give yourself like a mental checklist. So at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? I didn't get the sets or the show rate that I wanted, but I did everything that I had to do, and I'm okay with shutting off for the day. You know, that's one way to completely let go about it and to be okay with yourself and to be okay with your work for the day. Because if you feel like you didn't do enough and you don't know what enough really is, that's when your mind keeps racing. Oh, I should have done this. I could have done that. And it's good to think about these kind of things and add them to your checklist, maybe for things that you have to do throughout the day. But if you mentally don't know when you're finished, then you're mentally not going to be finished ever. Right. And so this is something that I've learned for myself, and it takes practice, right? To be okay with it, with the good days and with the bad days. And like I said, if you guys do want to talk about like your checklist in regards to what things could be implemented in there, we could definitely do that. But being able to just give yourself a checklist in general is what's going to help you end your day. Right. So that's pretty much your everyday way to disconnect. Does that make sense, Fred? Do you guys have any questions about that?
Yeah, so the checklist is like that determines that you've completed enough actions for the day. And so you don't have to necessarily worry about the outcomes, right? You just focus on whether you've completed your checklist.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously your checklist has to be very thorough, right? In regards to like your checklist doesn't have to be easy, right? So I mean, my checklist involves a bunch of different things. So I have a list of follow up that I have to hit, so it keeps me busy throughout the day. But I know that I've hit all my high leverage activities, right? Hit all my newest leads. I hit up all my follow up. I call on my ads bookings for me, right? I read out all my newest leads. If I have anybody else that I want to work, right? You add that to your checklist, and so like at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I did all my highest leverage activities. I did everything I need to do and I could have done to be as productive I can for the day. I'm okay with what happened for the day. Right. And so over time, you're going to begin to figure out what your checklist is to be able to get the results you're looking for. Right. So this
Right.
this is what I'm saying, that it's going to take time to figure out your perfect checklist.
Hmm.
Right. But the whole point is to have one to be able to disconnect.
Gotcha.
you know? And so the reason I bring this up because it's very important that you're able to start a day fresh to be able to perform, because the last thing you want is to have a bad day and to wake up the next day and already have a negative mindset. And it's already going to start affecting your health negatively right away. You're gonna be frustrated at the beginning of the day. You're gonna be looking at the clock like, oh my God, I have to dial for like 6 more hours and I still need to catch up from yesterday. When by that point you should have forgotten about yesterday.
Yeah. And
You
then it will just snowball into
know?
like more and more days.
But it just snowballed, and they're like, oh my God, now I need to catch up for the last 2 days. Now it's Friday. Oh my God, I have to catch up for the rest of the week. And then next thing you know,
Right.
You catch yourself stressing out, and then the next week comes, oh my God, I got to catch up for last week. And that's the worst thing you could do. And then every day you start your day agitated, you're frustrated, you're on edge, and you don't know what to do, right? But if you start every day fresh on the bottom of the checklist at the top, you're like, okay, I did what I had to do, right? I'm doing all my hazards, leverage activities. I perform well on my calls. I feel good with letting go of the day. That's one thing. I guess another question I have for you guys right now is if I asked the three of you guys to think about three ways, non-work, not like your everyday routine, just let's say out of your routine. If I asked you guys to drop everything and just pick three things that would that would allow you guys to have fun, right? How do you guys have fun? Pick three things right away. If you go with your friends or do whatever you want, let's say today you didn't have to work today, right? Things you don't normally do, whether it costs money, whether it doesn't. What's three things you could do right now that you feel like you could actively do to have fun? When was the last time you guys had fun?
I like running, so I would run, work out, and read. Like that's something that gives me peace. And by these are long runs, like 20K, 30K, 40K. I'll just run for hours.
Wow.
That's something that gives me peace. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Savage. I go
Blair,
li
Adolfo, what
go
about you guys?
work out with friends.
Work out with friends. That's one. Give me two more.
I just go out on walks around here, around the area.
That's
It's
one.
sun in Miami, so and then we got.
It could be anything. It doesn't have to be extraordinary. It could be something simple.
I want to say reading, but I mean I do it for the sake of growth instead of having the fun of it.
Okay. Okay. What about you? What about you, Blair?
Um, well, I might sneak an extra one in there. I like reading, um, any sort of book, playing video games with my brother, um, playing chess, and exercise. I mean, I do exercise for fun. So,
Okay. Good. Yeah, and the thing about it is, I guess more so, maybe this is for you, though, further, if you really have to really think about how you can have fun, means that maybe you have to prioritize yourself more on how to do these kind of things, right? For me personally, I'm very same as you, Blair. I like to play video games. I just recently got two new kittens, so I like to play with them, and I like to go to music festivals. Right. I like to go to music festivals. And the reason it's important to do this kind of things is because if you ask yourself what's a good way to have fun and you really have to think about it, it just kind of shows that like, you know what, oh man, when was the last time I did this kind of things? Why is it difficult for me to think about how to have fun?
yeah.
Right. And it could be things that you're able to do every day. It's things that maybe you're not able to do every day, right? And so it's very important to put these kind of things first because, like at the end of the day, these are things that are very important to you that maybe you don't have the luxury of doing every day, but you do have to be able to implement it into your life. One thing that I found that's very important to me, and this is kind of works with the setting space of making money, is giving yourself some sort of monetary like treat, right? So for me, like I said, I like to go to music festivals. Music festivals, they're not cheap. Right. I don't know whether you're thinking about Coachella, EDC. I'm into like EDM. So,
Yeah.
I go to a lot of these electronic music festivals. They're not cheap. And I go with my girlfriend, so I'm paying for two people, but I like to have fun with her. So, I give myself like this like monthly goal. Like I do once a month, I give myself something that's going to cost money. It's not going to be cheap. And the reason I do this is because it gives you something to work with towards the end of every month. And once you do this thing, once you come back, you'll be like, oh my God, I had so much fun. The reason I'm able to do this is because I'm doing what I'm doing now, which is the setting. This is why I work so hard, right? This is why I do these extra dials, right? This when you're tired at the end of the day, and you have to do maybe an extra 20, 30 dials, that's your motivation. Like, you know what, I really want to be here. I really need it. Whether it's money wise, I need to have the money to go here, whether it's like I want to comfortably go here, whether I want to treat my girlfriend or whatever you want to do, you gave yourself this monetary goal that you're working towards, and it's a short-term goal that once you achieve it, when you come back, you're like, oh my God, that was worth it. I know why I worked so hard this month. Let's do it again. Right. And so that's
Would
why
you say you feel like kind of like reset after that.
It's a huge reset. It's a huge reset, especially for like, for example, me at a music festival where there's like no phone service. All you're there, you're living in the moment, you're walking around, you're seeing these DJs, you're meeting all these people. And music festivals could be a 1 day thing, sometimes it could be a 2 or 3 day thing. And you come back, and I come back like Monday morning, or like Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday morning. Sometimes it runs into Mondays. I come back and I'm like, wow, that was fun. Right. This is why I do this. I'm so ready to start calling people, right? And do it all over again. And this is what I
Mm,
found for myself to be like a huge like motivational push, because it's very good to have a long-term goal, right? My long-term goal is to be able to retire my parents and get into real estate. But oh my God, how long is that going to take? Right. And when you have such a long-term goal like that, even though it is very motivation, gives you a lot of motivation. It's very easy to lose motivation because you're like, it's so far away.
yeah.
I want to get there, but it's so far away. But compared to like when you have a short-term goal, right? You're like, it's so close. Like, this is why I'm working hard this month to get to this, right? And it could change, right? At one point, it was I didn't really have the best relationship with my parents, and so at one point, for like maybe 3 to 4 months, my short-term goal was to take them to like an amusement park or to take them to like a big dinner at the end of every month, right? And again, that wasn't expensive, being able to feed 5, 6 different people, right?
Mm.
But I wanted to do it, and that's what I gave. That's my short-term goal for the month, you know? So I guess you guys don't have to commit to this right now, but it is something that's helped me out a lot. I guess if you guys were to give yourself a short-term goal, let's say for next month, what would it be?
For me, it'd be to travel for a weekend and take my mom.
Okay. Have you ever
That
been
was
able
like
to do
about a
that?
grand. No, so far no. I've done it for myself, but not for her.
Yeah. Have you thought about how much you would need to be able to financially to be able to do that?
Yeah, 1,500. That's all it takes
1,500. There we go. There you go.
for a
Okay.
week and 2 days. Yeah,
There we go. Maybe that's something that you could implement. Or maybe if traveling is a little too difficult to answer your schedule, something a little different, right? But that's good,
yeah.
right? What about you, Blair? If you were to give yourself a short-term goal for next month that you wanted to work towards?
Um, does it have to be something that I would like spend a lot of money on?
For me, it has worked if I spend a good amount of money, right? Keep in mind when I go to music festivals, I spend like same thing as around Adolfo, like the entire weekend, like maybe $1,000, a little bit over a
Mm.
thousand bucks. So 1,500 is like a good range. But I mean, it's up to you, right? You don't have to limit yourself, right? But
Well,
something that maybe
I
you go
mean,
there and you're able to maybe swipe your card a few times and you don't have to think about it, right? Because I earned it,
well,
like that kind of mentality, you know?
yeah. So one thing that I do with my family, like, well, very, very rarely, like maybe like twice a year or something, we all go out for dinner. Um, and I mean, you briefly mentioned it earlier. I think I would really like that if all seven of us went out to dinner and then I paid for everything. I think that would be like a really, really cool goal, short-term goal to work towards.
Have you been able to do that in the past, your entire family?
No, never, never.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm sure maybe putting a number to a restaurant might be a little difficult, but definitely it's still going to be a little up there in terms of price. What about you? What about you, Marcel?
To be honest, my goal would be to just find an offer. Like that would be the ultimate goal. Yeah, I won't even lie to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Obviously, your
yeah.
situation is a little different, but let's say you weren't an offer, right? Give yourself like a short-term goal. Right. Something to treat yourself, something that you don't get to do all the time. Like, for example, like, getting your family to go to dinner. You don't get to do that like every week. It does cost money. A music festival, I don't get to do it every week. It's like once a month kind of thing, but you do get to enjoy it, right? You get to feel like you earned this, right? If you were to like put some thought into that, what do you think it would be?
For me, it would be, and I know this sounds funny, but this really gives me peace. So I have to travel to this area, and the entire road is like, I don't know if I've heard about the Niagara Falls. I live in Canada.
Okay.
So I really like running like upstream the area. I did a race there and it was just peaceful. And I think it cost me money. Like I have to pay for the Airbnb and I have to pay for my travel and all that. But it just that area gave me peace. I think that's something that I would like to do.
Mhm.
Maybe if it's just once a month, but
Yeah.
I'll still like to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And so maybe keep that in mind, right? I don't know if you guys have implemented that, but I've for the past 4 years, I've implemented that into my lifestyle, my workflow. And so, obviously I know these coaching calls are very important to be able to, how to do setting. If you guys have any questions about that still, we could talk about like the logistics of setting, whatever you guys want to talk about. But this is something that's have helped me be able to stay consistent. This is something that's helped me being able to mentally stay where I want to be on calls, being able to show up every day, why I do this every day. You know what I mean? And so this is why whenever I speak to like a new setter, the first question I have for them is, why are you doing this? Because the first thing is going to be money, and I totally get it, right? But it's always very important to see why specifically you're doing this. And the more you
Mm.
go, the more you're going to set yourself these short-term goals. And I learned this from one of my mentors, right? I was in this position where I was working like this was my first offer, right? So obviously I was new to setting, and I was working every day, every week, and every day, every weekend. And he did see that I was a little stressed out. I was producing numbers, and I would always reach out to him, man. I'm tired, this and that. And then he asked me the same question, right? He's like, when was the last time you had fun? I'm like, oh, I mean, I play video games like once in a while. No, like like if you were to like go today, if you pick three things to have fun, what would you do? I had no answer, no answer for that. And then he was like, you see, man, like it's the fact that you don't know how to have fun and you're working this hard. Like, why are you working this hard for? Right, like, and then he began to show me like he implemented that into me, like every once a month I have this short-term goal that I do, whether it costs a lot of money or whether it's not easily attainable with time or whatever. I give myself this short-term goal to work with because once I do it, it feels like I earned it, and once I come back, I know why I do what I do.
Mm.
And it
Mm.
it completely shifted everything for me. You have no idea. And plus it's fun, right? It's actually fun to have fun. Who would have thought, right? But this is something that's very important to me, right? I know this was a little bit different compared to like the other classes that I've had. Do you guys have any questions in regards to like kind of what we talked about today, mindset, how to implement these kind of things?
I mean, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Like I can just um feel it myself, and especially like when I journal most evenings, I can see that if I don't have some sort of like release every now and again, I start to dislike, whatever I'm doing, or if I'm just trying to learn something a lot of the time, I start to dislike it. Um, and yeah, when I do give myself that sort of like time to like just let my hair down or whatever, um, it does sort of like reignite or respark that love for whatever I was doing in the first place. So no, what you're saying totally makes sense. I can definitely resonate with it.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's exactly kind of what I'm trying to help you guys understand. Adolfo, Vazal, you guys have any thoughts?
Now, brother, for me, it's working out. I know that if I go work out, segregate myself from the computer for a little while, I know I'm gonna be good for the next day.
That's good. What about you, Marcel?
I mean, that was really like, to be honest, that was eye-opening for me. Like, I had never thought the way you put it, like, hey, just go out and have fun. Like, I run, but that's just to declutter. But as you mentioned, like, if I should go out and do that for fun, because that's something I would really like to do. I think I'd start doing something like that once in a month to just zoom out and reset myself.
That's good.
I
Yeah,
feel like I feel like it's also like a different perspective for me because it's like I always viewed those sort of things, those sort of activities as like a waste of time. Like it's not conducive towards like my goals. But like what you're saying, yeah, is it's actually taking that time as like a strategic move because it's actually going to make you more effective in the long term. So I think that's also just a good way for me to think about it.
it's keeping you on track. Right. It's literally keeping you on track the entire time because it's over time you're going like this, and it's very good to go like this once things start getting bad. And the best thing you can do
Yeah.
is just get off. Get off, do something else. When you come back, you know exactly what's going on. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Another reason this is very important to me, and I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but when I first started setting and like I would have very bad days and like those bad emotions would linger, like even after I would be off to work, I'd be agitated. And so then I would rub this off on whoever was around me. So whether I was living at home or with my girlfriend, I would be in a bad mood. Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to talk to them. I was so upset as to what happened for the day that they would try to interact with me and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to talk to them. They would tell me like, "Hey, what's going on? You've been in a bad mood recently." I'm like, oh, it's because of work, it's because of work. And that's the worst. That's the, it sucks to say that, right? Because you're supposed to be liking what you do. Like, for example, if you went to RCA, that's kind of why you got into this, right? To have more time, more freedom, to be able to have more flexibility. But I mean, if it's still affecting you like a regular 9 to 5, then what's the point? You know,
Mm, mm.
for me, when I first got into RCA, I did it because I was working crazy hours overnight. I used to work at a Starbucks, and I would never see my family. And all I wanted to do was see my family. But then when I started studying and I started having bad days, even when I could see my family, I would treat them like shit. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what, why am I? And so I had to figure something out, right? There had to be a balance. I have to be able to have bad days and have it be okay, but still be able to enjoy the people I'm around. But I should still be able to perform. And for a while, I couldn't figure it out. And this is what I came up with. Right. This
That
is
makes sense.
this is what I've learned. And so like, that's the last thing you guys want, to be able to have it linger in you and especially to rub off on other people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, guys, I mean, besides that, this might be a bit of a shorter class. That's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys because I had this conversation with somebody over the weekend and I kind of helped me realize how important that is to me, right?
Mm.
After I had that conversation, what I did is I want to go buy some a DJ, some tickets to see a DJ for next month already. Right.
Cool, man. Now I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys listen to EDM,
I
but
do. I went to a
Yeah.
festival.
no. Okay. Well, this guy is it's called Mal P. I don't know if you guys heard about him. He's
Malky.
Mal P. He's like house.
Oh, Malky.
He's house music. He's a little up and coming, but yeah, me and my girlfriend listen to him a lot, and he's having a show. I live in Los Angeles, having a show in Los Angeles, and the first thing that I did, I'm like, I want to go buy the tickets. Right? It wasn't
So
cheap.
I can imagine. So back in 2022, during the pandemic or something like that, before then, I went to San Bernardino.
Oh, nice.
You were probably there if you're telling me all this.
I've been going to music festivals since 2019.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
29
you were there, man.
20 since 2019. Yeah. So probably I've gone to so many music festivals. It's crazy. I recently bought, I don't know if you guys heard about it. This is one of the biggest music festivals in the world, EDC.
Did you see? Are you
EDC.
going to the one in Colombia?
No, I'm going to one in Las Vegas next.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, the one in Las Vegas. But yeah, that's what I like to do, right? And it's not expensive.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. Sorry.
Uh,
Definitely
yeah.
expensive. But but yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Unless you have it,
No, definitely.
right? Unless you guys have any more
It was.
questions. You just we could go ahead and probably just call it a little bit short. I'm always on school. You guys can message me about anything. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about like actual setting next week, we could definitely chat about that. I know this was totally off topic this time, but I definitely think this is very important for most setters to just kind of remember, you know?
Got it.
I do have a quick question just in general for like the group.
Yeah.
When I want to get like a call reviewed, but I mean at the moment it's just mock calls, but which calls is which coaching call is it best to take that mock to get it
Any,
reviewed?
to be honest, you can bring it here. We can review a call. Any coaching call. I do know they do live mock calls on Saturdays. So like if you want a live mock call and get, feedback on the spot, you could do that.
Oh yeah.
You could do that Saturdays. But you could bring a car review anytime. You could bring one here next Friday, or
Hmm.
every coach is open to doing a car review.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right, awesome guys. So like I said, unless we have any more questions, this was
Uh,
this.
I have a quick one. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
All right. So let's say I want to find an offer. What are the top three things that you suggest that I should do daily so that I can like focus on just finding the important like three things that I should do daily?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a very important piece is to constantly be able to apply, right? Constantly apply, constantly apply. But even though you are constantly applying, this is kind of what I told Adolfo, find if like you really are like very big into the AI space, um, apply for all these AI places, but also like reach out to them personally, right? This is what I've done. This is what I've seen other people do. So let's say you find this company that's very big into AI and you really want to work with this company, apply for them and then find them on Facebook. Find them on Facebook. And if you can find anybody who works on the company, be like, hey, I'm Varsal. I've been in the high ticket space for quite some time. I'm very interested in the AI space, and I recently applied for a setup position there. I'm just a little curious. How is it to be setting there? Right. Hopefully you can find one of the setters. If not, you could just maybe how is it just to work there in general, right? You could just find somebody who works there and make yourself known in the company, right? Just make yourself stand out in some other way besides the applying process, right? These are things that
In those conversations that you're reaching out to these people that work in the company, have you got any like goal in mind, or is your goal just to get yourself known with them?
yeah, well, I mean, obviously, maybe the conversation leads to somebody talking to you and being like, "Yeah, well, I mean, actually, we are hiring. Have you managed to set in an application? Yeah, but I just wanted, and you could be like, yeah, but I just wanted to reach out myself and just kind of make myself known to you guys. Like, I'm very, very interested. Is there anything else you need from me in order for me to possibly land an interview?
Okay. All
Right?
right.
Like, also like taking that extra step, right? Not a lot of people do that. A lot of people apply and be like, I'm just waiting."
Uh,
Right. Funny enough, just I know we have a couple minutes. I did the same thing. This is where I kind of got this from. When I was first got when I got out of high school and I was applying for places, I applied for Starbucks. And I applied for Starbucks, and literally like the day after I applied, I called them. I called the store. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you guys saw my application. I applied yesterday. He's like, when can I come in for an interview? I'm like, oh, okay, we'll let you know. I called again the third day. I'm like, hey, I called yesterday. When can I come in for an interview? And we're like, oh, actually, we're having interviews today. You want to come in? Yeah. I went in and I got obviously it's Starbucks, not a big deal, but like that's kind of where I got it from, right? Like they're like, oh my God, this guy really wants it. Let's give him a try. Whether it's because maybe they're annoyed at you or maybe because they see that you have potential.
Mm,
As long as you get that interview, then you're golden. Then it's up to you to be able to perform at that point.
yeah.
And
Yeah. That makes sense.
if you're curious about how to interview, there's another coach here, Ethan E. He's very good at the hiring process. So Marcel Adolfo, I'm sure you guys been showing up to his calls. Ethan E, he's very good at getting people hired. He
yeah,
he teaches you how to interview, how to show up. So if like once you get an interview or whatever, you really want to practice for that, show up to his coaching call, and he's a master when it comes to interviewing and looking for jobs and everything. This is just kind of how I went about it.
makes sense.
Gotcha.
Real quick, if anybody wants to do a mock call, I can drop my link if that's okay. Then we can
Yeah,
Yes,
just
do it.
sure.
I'll be down.
Me too.
put it here in the chat then. Thank you, appreciate it.
Nice
And
one. I'll
Ethan,
save
thank
that.
you. Seriously, I'm gonna use that and just be more persistent, just as if I was selling the product.
Yeah. And I guess in other words, like you said, be more persistent with yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
That's pretty much what it is.
Perfect.
Did you guys grab Adolfo's link already? Blair, Marcel?
Yeah,
I'm just checking if it's loading properly. Yeah, I grabbed it. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
cool.
Well, it
Awesome.
was a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Hope you guys have fun. And hopefully I can see you guys next Friday, okay? Of
You got it, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
course, guys. Later.